So I was making a couple videos today, and I kind of got on a roll. Maybe get into telling my own stories and maybe breathing my own exhaust a little bit. But I was thinking about some non-standard lessons I learned from my mentor, Pony Bill Wagman, horse dealer, master trader, that kind of stuck with me, that weren't necessarily just all about horses. They sort of gave you a little idea of things that maybe made a difference in life. So one thing he told me, and this does deal with horses, when he'd have somebody come to look at a horse, he would say to me, "Go hide the pretty ones." And we had a garage up back where he had 2 or 3 stalls, and if we had a couple of really high-end horses, we'd move them out of his trading barn and I'd put them up in the garage. He says, that guy will come, he wants to look at this little sorrel mare. She's plain as a mud fence, but she's broke, she's nice, but he'll see that big old show horse and he'll say, "That's the one I want." He can't afford her, he couldn't get along with her, he doesn't need her, but it'll be all he'll see. He won't buy her, but he won't buy the other one because he saw the pretty one. So hide the pretty ones. Now, I don't know if you have that problem. I don't know if you have people coming to your place, but think about it. People get blinded by the pretty ones and they see the horse that they dream of having, not the one they need to have. That's the real lesson there. Ask yourself, when you go to buy a horse, am I buying the horse I dream of or the horse I can live with? That makes a big difference. If you get the right horse, it may not be the most gorgeous horse in the world. It may not be the most talented horse in the world, but if what you need is a horse to take care of you, if you need a reliable horse, if you need a pleasant horse, maybe that's more important than that high-end horse that really needs a lot of maintenance. So if you need a Toyota, nothing wrong with that. Don't buy a Ferrari that is just going to be broken down and giving you trouble. I used to ditch school when I was a junior and senior. Once I got my driver's license, I'd go to school, sign in, I'd park my car over at the nursing home, I'd walk out the back door, and that was before there was security, go through a little wooded area, back to the nursing home, get in my 1963 Ford Fairlane, and I'd drop to Bill's place for the day. And though Bill was fine with me playing hooky, he also felt a little bit guilty. So he made a point of instructing me, sometimes in what he thought of as academic subjects. So Bill had some farm ground that he had bought, and he leased it to a farmer. And this was probably in November. The corn had been taken off, and at that point it was ear corn. They'd pick it on the ear, and it was on these big grain trucks, or on a big grain truck, quite a bit of corn. And Bill says, "Time for economics class." I said, "Okay." He said, "You have an economics course at school?" I said, "Yeah, that's a class I'd be in now if I wasn't here." He said, "Well, you're in economics right now." He said, "Climb up on that truck and I'll throw you this bucket up." He said, "I want you to fill this big 5-gallon bucket with ear corn and then drop it down to me." So I climb up there and I fill it with ear corn, I drop it down. But I know it's not Bill's corn, it's the farmer who farmed his place, it's his corn. And so I dropped it down and Bill said, "Now what economic principle did I just demonstrate?" I said, "Well, I don't know, stealing?" And he said, "No, interest." He said, "This guy is supposed to pay me when the crops come off. He won't pay me till spring. Meanwhile, I'm out the money." He said, "I'm just collecting my interest." And in a way, that made sense. And it was probably, I have no idea what I would have been studying in economics class that day, but I do remember the way you get interest if you're in the real world. And that is, you take it where you can find it, and you recognize when somebody is using your money taking advantage of you. And if the opportunity presents itself and you can outsmart them, you do. So that was interest. The final thing, and this is sort of a bookend to the hide the pretty ones. We were at a fellow's place, had a couple horses for sale. He had a black mare, absolutely beautiful mare. Great mover, but she was green and she was a little shattery. And I rode her and I said, Bill, I really like this thing. Bill says, yeah, I see what you like in her. He says, now get on the little bay mare. So I get on this bay mare, and she was really broke. She was real quiet. And Bill says, I'm buying the bay mare. And we're on the way home. I said, Bill, why didn't you buy the black mare instead of this plain bay mare? He says, you can always sell a gentle one. So bear that in mind when you have the opportunity to buy a horse that's a project, that's really difficult, that may remain difficult. You have to think about who you can sell them to at the end of your road, because the odds are many of those horses won't completely change their style, and they'll have an edge to them. Whereas that nice gentle horse, you'll always be able to find a home. And you know what? They'll always have a place here with me, and they'll never cause me any trouble. Even if they're not doing everything I could dream of, I respect that gentle horse. And if you don't need him anymore, you can always sell him. I had a wonderful horse that we showed for a number of years. He was kid gentle, a talented horse. He was bad-footed. I bought him thinking I could show around that or work around that, because he was so good-minded. I knew I wasn't going to have to pound him to get him going. And I didn't. But we owned him for about probably 10 years. And the mileage caught up with him. So rather than keep him and try to get all of the value out of him, I donated him to Wilson College for their therapeutic riding and beginning program, because he could handle that amount of work. And he went up there. He had a great life. He's still there. He's been in their magazine. He's part of their promotion. He's a favorite. And he was the gentle horse that you could sell. I had another horse that was really a high-level athletic horse, but he was really difficult. You really couldn't put most people on him and expect them to have much success with him. And I sold him for almost nothing to somebody who I knew would get along with him. She did. She's had a very successful career with him. But I couldn't just say to him or about him, well, I can sell him to anybody. I love the ones that if they're not your show horse, they could be a kid's pony. God bless them. If you have one, treasure them. So there's some things to think about. And thank you for indulging me in the opportunity to tell yet a couple more stories.